So, have you ever felt, just completely swamped? Like when you're trying to figure out your next career move or even just hunting for a job?
Oh, definitely.
It's that feeling, right? Where everyone's saying, oh, the way jobs are done is changing dramatically. And maybe you've seen articles like that Washington Post one from a while back.
About incomes dropping and those lists of worst paying jobs. Food service, cashiers.
Exactly. It can feel like you're just lost in this massive amount of information, like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but the haystack's also like on fire and moving.
That's a great way to put it. It's a really common feeling, isn't it? So much information out there, and when it's your livelihood on the line, figuring out what's real and what's just noise is tough.
Absolutely. And that's basically our mission today on the deep dive. We want to give you a shortcut, sort of, to being genuinely well-informed about job hunting today, helping you figure out what really matters and what you can maybe, tune out.
And our main guide for this is a real classic. What color is your parachute? A practical manual for job hunters and career changers.
Right. It's fantastic because it's got super practical advice, but also these deeper principles underneath.
And what's really interesting right from the get-go is this paradox the book points out.
Yeah.
It says, okay, the surface of job hunting, that's constantly changing. New tech, computers, the internet, smartphones, all that stuff.
With the tools we use.
Exactly. But the essence, the core of how you actually find work that fits, that hasn't really changed much since about 2008.
That's fascinating. So new tools, same fundamental human process. Okay, so what can you, our listener, expect today? We're going to unpack this. First, we'll try to clarify this modern job landscape. Then we'll dive into some really powerful self-discovery tools the book talks about. After that, some proven job hunting strategies that actually work regardless of the tech.
And finally, how to tackle some of those common roadblocks people run into.
Okay, let's start with that dramatic change idea. You hear that? You think robots, right? Taking over jobs.
Yeah, that's the common fear.
And the source actually confirms, robots and sensors, they are a big deal. It gives the example of your smartphone packed with, 5 to 9 sensors? Proximity, light, sound, temperature.
Barometer, accelerometer.
Yeah.
Yeah, tons of them. They're everywhere.
So technology is definitely integrated.
But here's the key insight from the book.
Yeah.
Don't just fear it, learn about it. Understand how these things, robots, sensors are designed, how they're made, operated, maintained, fixed.
Oh, okay.
Because these actors, as the book calls them, they're going to be around for a long, long time.
Right.
So if you focus your skills there, you'll likely find opportunities.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, but then we circle back to that paradox you mentioned. All this tech changes the form, the surface stuff.
Right. Digital resumes, the Internet of Things. How we do the search might look different.
But the underlying essence hasn't shifted. It's like, changing your outfit doesn't change who you are deep down.
Exactly.
So if that core part hasn't changed, what does that mean for how you should fundamentally approach finding a job?
Well, that's where it gets really practical. This core idea shapes how we should look at the job market itself. Lots of people feel like jobs are scarce, right?
Yeah, that's the common narrative.
But the data, specifically the Jolt to Fast report, that's the job openings and labor turnover survey, it tells a different story. Get this. In April 2017, over 5 million people found work. But, and this is key, almost 5 million other jobs remained unfilled at the end of that month.
Wait, so 5 million hired plus nearly 5 million still open. That's
Yeah.
over 10 million jobs available in the U.S. in just 1 month.
Exactly. 10 million. It doesn't really sound like a scarcity problem when you put it like that, does it?
Not at all. So the real challenge isn't a lack of jobs. It's more like a matching problem,
Right.
a connection issue.
Precisely. Finding the right fit and making sure they can find you. The book uses this neat 5 versus 55 analogy. Think about those government reports like 211,000 net new jobs created.
Yeah, you hear those numbers on the news.
That 211,000, that's like the net change in a store's inventory to the end of the month. But the 10 million, that's the total activity, everything that came in and went out the door during the month. It's a much bigger, more dynamic picture.
Wow, okay. That really reframes things. So if the essence hasn't changed and there are actually tons of openings, where should you put your energy first? What does the book say is the most important starting point?
This is huge. It's printable #2, the importance of a self-inventory. The core insight here is pretty profound. Those successful job hunts, we're talking an 84% success rate.
84%, that's massive.
Right. They don't start by chasing whatever seems hot in the market. They start with research on yourself. using tools like what the book calls the flower exercise.
Okay, self-research first.
Compare that 84% to just researching hot jobs, which the book says only has maybe a 4% to 28% success rate. The mantra is crystal clear. Who precedes what? Know yourself first.
Who precedes what? I like that. It's sticky. And this flower diagram you mentioned, it helps you build a picture of yourself.
Yeah, a complete picture using, as the book puts it, the language of the workplace. It defines you in 7 different ways, like 7 petals of a flower.
And the idea is if a job only matches one petal, just one part of you.
You're probably not going to be very happy or fulfilled there long term. Makes sense, right?
Totally. So can you give us an example of a tool for this self-discovery?
Sure. Let's look at the prioritizing grid. It's a simple but clever tool in the book designed for sorting out, say, 10 items or fewer to figure out what really matters most to you.
Okay.
The example used is prioritizing people I'd prefer not to have to work with. You list things like maybe bossy, never thanks anyone, always stretches the truth, totally undependable.
Stuff that drives you crazy at work.
Exactly. Then the process is simple. You list them, and you compare them pair by pair. Okay, which do I dislike more, bossy or never thanks anyone? You circle your choice.
Like a mini tournament of annoyances?
Kind of. You tally up the circles for each item, and bam, you get a ranked list in your exact order of preference. It brings real clarity. There's even an online version they mention, BeverlyRyle.com, Prioritizing Grid.
Cool. That sounds really useful for pinpointing deal breakers. What else does the book unpack about self-inventory?
Well, a big one is skills.
Mm-hmm.
It points out that so many people, students, grads, even mid-career folks think, I don't have enough skills.
Oh, yeah, I hear that all the time. Imposter syndrome.
Totally. But the book, drawing on the work of Sidney Fine, who basically created the Dictionary of Occupational Titles, says that's just not true. We all have 3 different kinds of skills.
Okay, 3 kinds. What are they?
First, functional skills, also called transferable skills. These are the things you can do and ideally love to do. Verbs, basically, like constructing, researching, supervising, writing, organizing. The goal isn't just listing them, it's finding your favorite ones.
Got it. Verbs I enjoy using. What's second?
Second is special knowledges. These are the subjects you know about and love to use. Usually nouns. Things like graphic design, physics, Japanese language, ancient history, auto repair. Your areas of expertise.
Okay, knowledges. And the third?
Third is self-management skills, or you might call them traits. This is how you manage yourself at work. Usually adjectives or adverbs, like adaptable, dependable, innovative, persistent, tactful, resourceful.
Right. So functional skills are verbs, knowledges are nouns, traits are adjective adverbs. How do you figure out what yours are, especially the ones you actually like using?
The book suggests writing accomplishment stories. Pick something you did that you felt good about, achieved a goal. Describe the goal, any challenges or hurdles you faced, and then, crucially, list the step-by-step actions you took to overcome them.
Like telling a mini story about a success.
Exactly. There's a good example about someone who rigged out a station wagon as a camper on a really tight budget. As you write these stories, you look for 2 things. Pattern skills you use again and again because that's way more convincing than a one-off.
Makes sense.
And your priorities. What skills do you enjoy using so much you trade off other things for them? What really energizes you?
Okay, so accomplishment stories help uncover skills, patterns, and priorities. What's next in this self-discovery process? Another flower petal.
Yep, the next crucial petal is about finding your purpose or mission. This gets a bit deeper. The book introduces 9 spheres of purpose or mission. These are like general areas where you might want to make a difference.
Like what?
For example, the sphere of the senses. Maybe your purpose involves bringing more beauty into the world because you were here through art, design, nature, whatever. It also mentions writing a life philosophy essay as a way to explore this.
A life philosophy. Interesting.
And it's worth mentioning the author in an appendix talks about his own Christian perspective on mission, defining it as using your best gifts in settings you like for purposes that matter, which he frames in terms of God's needs. But he aims to communicate that respectfully in our diverse world. He also talks about this rhythm of mission, unlearning, learning, unlearning, learning. This idea of continuous growth and shedding old ideas.
That's a powerful concept. So skills, purpose. What other petals are there?
Well, there's your knowledges,
Yeah.
but expanding beyond just work subjects. What do you know from hobbies, interests outside of work? Antiques, gardening, photography, or maybe academic stuff you value, like keyboarding skills or speaking Chinese.
Broadening the definition of what counts as knowledge.
Exactly, because, as the book notes, while ONET might list 900 occupations, Specific jobs come and go. Your underlying knowledges are more enduring.
Gotcha. And then there's money, right? That has to be a pedal.
It is. The sixth pedal is money, and the approach is very down to earth. The key insight is figure out what you actually need.
Not just guessing or aiming for some random high number.
Right. Calculate your real monthly spending. Multiply by 12 for the year. Then divide that yearly total by 2,000. That's roughly the number of work hours in a year to get your minimum acceptable hourly wage.
Okay, practical math, like their example.
Yeah.
If you need $3,333 a month, that works out to needing about $20 an hour minimum.
Exactly. And for salary research beyond your minimum, the book actually prefers the offline method. Talk to people already doing the kind of job you want.
Really? Better than online salary sites.
That's what it suggests is often more accurate and nuanced, though it does acknowledge online research exists. It even points to local newspaper Help Wanted as the few that list salaries as a potentially useful, concrete data point, especially for roles like administrative assistants.
Interesting. Okay, so once you've done all this homework on yourself, skills, purpose, knowledges, money needs, what's the overarching strategy?
That brings us to principle #3. Creative job hunting rests on your finding answers to 3 questions: what, where, and how.
What, where, how? Okay.
What skills do you most want to use? Where do you want to use them? What field? What kind of place? And how do you find those jobs and convince them to hire you? That self-inventory answers the what and helps with the where. Now we need the how.
Right. So let's talk about the how in today's world. Resumes, for instance. They feel different now.
Definitely. The book talks about needing more than a pre-Google resume. Your resume now needs to be built with search algorithms in mind.
Keywords.
Keywords are crucial. Think about what terms a recruiter would type into LinkedIn to find someone like you, and make sure those are in there. And include links to a professional blog focused only on your expertise, maybe a relevant Twitter feed, or even YouTube videos showing what you can do, especially if it involves numbers or demonstrating a skill.
Like a portfolio, but updated.
Exactly. And the book rebrands portfolio as evidence of what I can do and have done, or proof of performance, much clearer.
Makes sense. What about safety, putting all this online?
That's a really important point the book stresses, especially for women. Be extremely cautious about putting your home address or even your main phone number on a resume you're posting widely online. An email address is usually enough for initial contact.
Good advice. Okay, moving on to interviews. What's the wisdom there?
First, remember interview is usually plural. Expect multiple conversations. Second, ditch the idea of some single monolithic employer. There are millions of different employers, all with unique needs.
So rejection from one doesn't mean anything about the next one.
Exactly. Some employers out there do want you, no matter what the others think. Also, recognize the difference between big companies, often harder to reach the right person because of automated phone systems, and smaller ones.
And what are employers really worried about when they interview you?
The book highlights 2 big fears. 1, you have some hidden disastrous character flaw. You're dishonest, lazy, a gossip, something that will blow up later.
Okay, the character risk.
2, you'll somehow bring discredit to the hiring manager for choosing you, make them look bad. Understanding these fears helps you anticipate concerns and build trust.
That's insightful. And what should you ask the interviewer? The book has specific suggestions, right?
Yes, very practical ones. Always ask, when may I expect to hear from you? Then follow up with, might I ask what would be the latest I can expect to hear?
Get a firm time frame.
Yes. And then ask, may I contact you after that date if for some reason I haven't heard back? This shows diligence and manages expectations.
Okay.
Optionally, you can ask, can you think of anyone else who might be interested in my skills and experience? Kind of a networking question.
Right. And there's that story about the interviewer who just said never when asked the latest question.
Yeah. Tells you a lot about that workplace, doesn't it? Move on.
Definitely. Okay, this brings us to finding jobs that aren't even advertised, the hidden job market. How do you tap into that?
Networking is key, but strategic networking. The main goal is to find the specific person who actually has the power to hire you for the job you want.
Not just HR necessarily.
Often not just HR. LinkedIn is mentioned as a tool here, finding people directly. Also, using bridge people, mutual contacts who can make a warm introduction. That's gold.
Makes sense. And preparation.
Do your homework before you talk to people. Use informational interviews, scour the internet, even check the public library for info on organizations that interest you.
And leverage your existing network, right? Friends, neighbors.
Absolutely. Ask them, do you know anyone who works at X company? I'm really interested in what they do. Try to set up informal chats. coffee, lunch. The book suggests it really helps if a mutual friend can be there too. Just to clarify, it's an exploratory chat, not a direct ask for a job immediately.
Takes the pressure off a bit.
Exactly. And don't underestimate job search support groups. Even if they feel a bit basic sometimes, that community, that encouragement, it's vital. The book is adamant. No one should ever have to job hunt all by themselves.
That sense of community is huge.
Which leads to another principle. Principle #18. Always have alternatives. Keep multiple possibilities going. It's crucial for maintaining hope and reducing desperation.
Okay, great strategies. Now, what about specific challenges, like, say, age bias if you're over 50?
The book addresses this directly. Employers look for energy. But the insight is, after 50, that energy often comes less from sheer physical stamina
Yep.
and more from excitement about life. You need to project that passion and engagement.
That's a great reframing. What about someone with a criminal record? That's a tough barrier.
It is. The advice is practical. Google the prejudice itself, like job hunting with a record, to find specific resources. The book actually names several. Mark Drevno's Jails to Jobs book and website, which even has a tattoo removal directory.
Wow, that's specific help.
Yeah, and also the Step Ahead Workbook, a free PDF, and Dick Gaither's Ex-Offender Training Packet, a huge, free 255-page ebook. Lots of support out there if you look.
Good to know. And for people with vision impairments.
Similar advice. Google low vision or visually impaired jobs for techniques and adaptive strategies. And fittingly, the Parachute book itself is available as an audiobook over 11 hours long. Accessibility matters.
It really does. Okay, let's shift gears. What if you want a significant career change? That feels daunting.
The book offers a really smart two-step strategy. The goal is to always be able to claim relevant prior experience, even when changing fields.
How does that work?
Instead of changing both your job title role and your field industry at the same time, which is really hard, change just one at a time.
Ah, okay. Step by step.
Right. Maybe you go from role A in field X to role B, new role, still in field X, get experience there. Then you move from role B in field X to role B in field Y, new field. You always carry relevant experience forward. The book says this tremendously increases your hiring chances.
That's a very clever, tactical approach. Less risky. Does it touch on starting your own thing, entrepreneurship?
It does. There's case history, #1, about a physical therapist who became a successful furniture refinisher, found undervalued pieces, fixed them up beautifully, sold them online. Craigslist was his main platform initially.
Cool pivot.
And he used modern tools smartly. Video, audio, photos. The book notes people trust video most, then audio, then photos, then text. And he used social media, referencing Wikipedia's list of popular sites to get his work seen. It's just how self-discovery can open unexpected doors.
Yeah, finding that intersection of skill and interest. What about assessment tests? Myers-Briggs, StrengthsFinder, all those, are they useful?
The advice is cautious but clear. Use tests for clues, hunches, or suggestions, not as the final word on who you are or what you should do.
Don't let a test define you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And crucially, take several different tests. Relying on just one can seriously mislead you.
Why is that?
There's this powerful story in the book about a man who was told by a career counselor he had no mechanical aptitude based on one test, the strong inventory.
Oh, wow.
But the counselor misread it. The strong measures interests, not aptitudes. This poor guy actually avoided using hammers for years because of it, until he had to do a house repair and discovered he actually loved working with his hands and was good at it.
That's terrible, but a great illustration.
It really is. The takeaway. A good test broadens your horizons, suggests possibilities. A bad test, or a badly interpreted one, narrows them. Be critical.
Good advice.
Yeah.
And if you do decide to work with a career counselor, any red flags to watch out for?
Yes. Be wary if they get huffy or defensive when you ask about their experience or success rates, or if they refuse to let you talk to former clients. Big red flag.
Lack of transparency.
Right. Or if they use high-pressure sales tactics, making it feel like dealing with a used car salesman, as the book puts it. At the end of the day, when choosing any kind of support, the book says, rapport is everything. You need to feel comfortable and trusting.
Makes total sense. Okay, let's try to wrap this up.
Sure. So, bringing it all together, we've journeyed through this idea that the job market's surface is always churning, technology keeps changing.
Right, the constant flux.
But the underlying essence, the human need to find meaningful work and how you go about it, that remains surprisingly constant.
And the absolute power of starting with yourself, that deep self-inventory, using tools like the flower diagram, the prioritizing grid.
Understanding your real skills, functional, knowledge-based, self-management, getting clearer on your purpose, your values, even your practical money needs.
And then applying that self-knowledge with smart strategies.
Yeah.
Modern resumes, navigating interviews effectively, tapping the hidden job market through real connection.
Building that support network, always having alternatives, and knowing how to address specific challenges like bias or making a strategic career change.
Yeah. I think the core message that really comes through is that you're not just adrift in some huge impersonal system.
Yeah,
You're not powerless against these big forces.
not at all.
You control the most important thing, how you search, how you approach it, based on who you truly are.
That's it. And that, the book argues, is the real key. Not just finding a job, but finding meaningful work that fits you.
There's this quote near the end, the author reflecting on his life.
Yeah, it's quite profound. He says, "The secret of living is not to set as our goal a happy life, nor even a successful life, as the world measures success, but a victorious life."
Meeting the obstacles and challenges that life naturally throws into our path, and by grit, determination, and grace, overcoming them all.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? It leaves us with a question, maybe for you, the listener, to ponder after this deep dive.
Yeah. Beyond just the job hunt, what might a victorious life look like for you on your own unique path with your own unique purpose, something to chew on?